Good Saturday morning. We are waiting for the sun to come up. I've got my fresh longanberries and they are just so good. Have you ever tried a longanberry? They are delicious. You can usually find them at your international grocery store. But anyway, I've got starches in the oven. We've got sweet potatoes and regular russet potatoes in the oven. I've got a big batch of water spinach sauteing in my saucepan back here. And we're gonna make a really fast lentil sheet pan flatbread. I made this on Instagram last year. It's so simple, I had to share it with you. I was like, let me just hit play and show you how to do this. You can make this into like pancakes, or you can make this into a whole sheet pan like I'm gonna do today. You can cook them on your skillet or you can cook them in your oven. This is what we're doing. It's 2-ingredient flatbread with lentils. I have used every color lentil. It does work with different types of lentils. You may need to adjust the water amount that you use, but here it is. These are red lentils. I've got 1 cup. And then in my blender, I already have 2 full cups of hot water. The only reason I'm using hot water is because it just softens the lentils faster. However, you could absolutely just use regular temperature water, and you might want to let the lentils soak for a little bit, unless you have a really great high-speed blender, and then you don't really have to worry about it at all. You can just do regular water, your lentils, and blend, okay? So that's what we're gonna do. All right, so all done blending. In the blender, we've got a really hot, creamy mixture. And again, it was just 1 cup lentils, 2 cups water. And look, I've got a sheet pan with unbleached parchment paper, and I'm simply going to pour this entire thing on top. Now, if you wanted to, you could just do this in small amounts on a skillet. So you could do them in kind of like pancake situations if you wanted to, and make them into little wraps if you want. But what I like to do is do this in a very large batch because it's so simple. And what I'm gonna do is just take this creamy mixture and spread it across my sheet pan. And then Cohen chose some spices earlier to use for these. And what we're gonna use is parsley and crushed red pepper. Now, if you wanted these to be spiced or, you know, with herbs in them, prior to making them, you could absolutely do that. Or prior to putting it on the sheet pan, you could absolutely do that. You could just basically put it into your blender. I've added garlic to these before. I've added sun-dried tomatoes to these before. Sumac, black pepper, dill weed, so delicious. Onion. The possibilities are endless with these. But what I'm gonna do is take some spices and put it on top of this, and then I'm gonna bake it at 400 for about 20 minutes until it's done. I mean, it's so easy to tell that it's done because it will just kind of pull away from the parchment paper and you'll be able to see if the bottom is done. Then, once it becomes this big sheet, you know, this big flatbread, you can cut it up into squares and bake it even more and make it into lentil crackers. Or you can cut it into like 4s and make them individual pizzas. That's what we have done. It's so stinking easy. It's gluten-free. It's totally protein packed. Again, this is parsley and crushed red pepper. And I have definitely made this version with the spices in the blender already, but we wanted to try to do an experiment and see how they turn out. All right, so it is out of the oven. We put it at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes. And again, this is on an unbleached parchment paper. I wanted to show you how pliable it is. Move my cabbage out of the way. And how versatile this can be. So you see how I can move it. It is pliable and mobile, right? And now, just take a knife to it.
I want to try it.
Yep, I know you do. I'm just gonna cut it straight down long ways. And then I'm gonna cut it again, just straight in the center. Yes, you can try it, Cohen Heine. Hold on. Again, you can add any spices that you want. You can use this for pizza, or you can just eat this straight up. Basically, now we have a beautiful flatbread. Look at that, yum, yum. Ready to go. If you are somebody who is transitioning off of salt or trying to reduce their salt, you could absolutely put miso paste in this recipe if you feel like you need extra salty flavor. But we don't even need it. So delicious. Sometimes it creates a little pocket like a pita bread. But try these. Again, if you wanted to, you could just keep cutting these up into squares, putting them back into the oven, and then make crackers. Bon appetit.